Now let's get to today's feature segment on some large cap stock picks. Dan Russo is with us, Chief Market Strategist at Chillican Analytics. It's great to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So how are you feeling overall? I mean, we have a record day. I like to take a peek and see how the Nasdaq's almost at 10,000.
10,000.
And the Dow is at almost 30,000. Isn't it exciting?
Very.
But what happens next?
Well, it's kind of interesting because I get the question a lot, why hasn't the fears of the coronavirus shown up in the market? And with the S&P 500 making all-time highs, the Nasdaq making all-time highs, it's easy to overlook the fact that it actually is showing up in the market. Something that I look at is how is growth performing. I have a view that when investors are concerned about the global growth outlook, they will pay a premium for growth stocks. So if we look at an ETF like the Vanguard S&P 500 Growth ETF, ticker is VOOG.
Right.
In our model at Chillican Analytics, it has a very bullish ETF rating, and what drives a lot of that is the trend, number one, but also the underlying holdings. If we look under the hood at our power gauge rating for the individual holdings of that fund, there are more than 2 times as many bullish stocks as there are bearish stocks. So we think that growth can continue to outperform. So we think investors are concerned about slowing growth, and they're expressing that view by owning the parts of the market that are actually growing. Another side of that is mega cap stocks, right? MGC is an ETF that tracks the mega cap stocks within the market. That has a bullish rating within our model for the ETF, and same type story. More than 2 times as many bullish stocks as bearish stocks in the underlying holdings, and continuing to outperform the market. So we think that that can persist based on our ETF rating and based on the ratio of bullish to bearish stocks as their holdings. And what I also look at is the ratio of copper to gold. Right? Copper is an industrial metal widely used throughout the economy. Gold is a precious metal. Right? People turn to that in times of uncertainty.
And what are you finding?
And what I'm finding is a clear downtrend in the ratio of copper to gold. So that tells me that investors are likely to remain concerned about slowing global growth. They're likely to continue to bid up growth stocks, look to the safety of mega cap stocks.
Why do people look for value sometimes when they're nervous a little bit?
You would think that, but in an environment where people think that growth is scarce, they're more likely to pay a premium for what actually is growing.
So you mentioned VOOG, the Vanguard 500 Growth Index ETF, and you actually also like Visa and Alphabet as some of your big campaigns.
I do, if I kind of drill down on that theme. One of our key tenets at Chillican Analytics is look for the leading areas of the market and then look for the stocks within those areas that we rate either bullish or very bullish that are outperforming the market and are being accumulated by investors, which we see in our Chillican Money Flow indicator. So Visa fits the bill there. Visa has a bullish rating in our model. It's outperforming the market, and it's continuing to be accumulated, and the same goes for Alphabet, or better known as Google.
Sure. And when you look at these names, I know you like to pick the leaders. I mean, MasterCard seems like a leader as well. I mean, there's so many names in the fintech space as well.
Of course. Payment stocks are doing well.
Space,
Interestingly, MasterCard has a neutral rating in our model at this time, so would favor Visa based on that.
Oh, that's interesting. Ultimately, I wonder, it's a global story as well.
It is.
And then when you look at Alphabet, Google, what do you think about the whole FANG group? I mean, Google seems to be your pick of the group, right? What about some of the other names in the group?
You know what? I think what's happening in the FANG, or some might call it the FAN Mag now, adding Microsoft to the mix, I think it's indicative of what I'm talking about. Those are mega cap growth names. And I actually write in a note for our clients, I published it on Friday, I built an index of the FAN Mag stocks, and it's at an all-time high. So I think that's indicative of what we're talking about here. Large cap or mega cap growth continuing to outperform the market. Right.
So you're recommending at this time, even though we have the coronavirus and some jitters, to buy these dips, buy these names, right? Ultimately,
so far, it's been the right strategy.
What's going to make you change your mind?
For us right now, the level that we're watching on the S&P 500 is 3,250 to 3,300 as near-term support, as long as we're holding above those levels. And importantly, if I drill down on the SPY and look at the individual holdings, and based on our 20-factor model, if there are more bullish stocks than bearish stocks, that'll keep me bullish.
Right, so you're watching that trend as well. It's
watching key levels as well as the fundamentals of the companies.
Understood. Dan Russo, Chief Market Strategist at Chillican Analytics.